Part 7. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Ching Mi Se. Chapter 61. Joe Gaiken felt very aggrieved. He was the one who ate the melon, why was he said to be the one who planted the melon? Why is there so much prejudice in this world? Zhong Wenbei was confused by Fang Ye's words. Did I say that? Did Brother Ken say that? While Fang Ye was eating the cake, Zhong Wenbei approached Joe Gaiken. Brother Ken, did I forget something? Joe Gaiken said impatiently, who knows, you guys are more weird than each other, I'll go to have my fortune told tomorrow. Xia King I looked at the time and felt that it was about time, so he went out and called Chen Shen in. Seeing this scene, Zhong Wenbei was a little excited, and pulled Joe Gaiken's arm again. Look, look. Kitchen. Xia King I and Chen Shen stood in front of the stove. Which one should be cooked first, sweet and sour spare ribs or braised pork? Chen Shen asked back, are you asking me? Xia King I rolled her eyes. Chen Shen couldn't cook, which was normal in Xia King I's opinion. She checked Chen Shen's background, but only found out that he was a trainee at Hagen Entertainment. It's normal for a trainee who graduated from an art school not to know how to cook. 500 meters to the west, and 500 meters to the east as well. Is that difficult? Then do it together. Xia King I thought for a while, that's a reliable answer. Both dishes are time-consuming. There are 4 stoves in the kitchen, 2 for Chinese and 2 for Western. It's totally possible. But I think he may not be very reliable. I think you can shut up and bring the apron over. At the dining table, Zhong Wenbei began to tap his toes on the ground. It was not embarrassment, but an indescribable envy. He actually put an apron on her. So close, he must be able to smell King I's body fragrance. Bah, what am I thinking? Xia King I can't even imagine how fragrant she is. Brother Shen is too lucky. His waist is so thin. Why don't I tie it behind his back? Joe Gaiken narrowed his eyes, a dog thing, a wolfish ambition, a dead scum who is cheating on 3 women. Joe Gaiken and Zhong Wenbei looked at each other, both puzzled. Why can Fang Ye still eat? If it were me, wouldn't I have gone there long ago? On the surface, Fang Ye was as still as a mountain. In fact, 2 villains were fighting in his mind. It doesn't matter. One is a good brother and the other is a goddess. Don't you know what kind of person a good brother is? That's a revolutionary friendship. He, who rarely goes into the kitchen, went to help. Could it be that he went there for his sake? King I was tired. If I still care about these things, wouldn't I be a little man who is unreasonable? It matters. No, we have made an appointment. Although we haven't confessed to each other, at least we have a good impression of each other, so I have to swear my sovereignty. But will this make me look like I have no pattern? Brother Ye, go and help. Joe Gaiken couldn't bear to see such a scene and whispered. Fang Ye was stunned. He didn't have much good impression of Joe Gaiken in his heart. If it were someone else, he might have gone, but not Joe Gaiken. In Fang Ye's perception, Joe Gaiken had to be classified as an outsider. In front of outsiders, you must not waste energy, at least you can't waste energy in front of outsiders. Fang Ye still understands this. My good brother is here, it's okay, I can come over when I'm busy, Fang Ye still said carelessly. Joe Gaiken was stunned. Did he really not understand, or was he pretending not to understand? These brothers-in-law are really more weird than each other. Chen Shen glanced at Fang Ye several times, and saw that Fang Ye was unmoved, and he was a little surprised. So high resistance. Chen Shen really wanted to shake the relationship between Fang Ye and Xia King I, but this matter could not find a breakthrough from Xia King I, but only from Fang Ye. Even if we take a step back, this is also for Fang Ye, it is better to suffer a short pain than a long pain. Chen Shen approached Xia King Ai. No, you really can. Xia King Ai smiled, look down on people? I have a super good memory, Chinese recipes. Chen Shen nodded in approval, then handed over an apron, help me tie it. Xia King Ai took it, and Chen Shen turned around. Xia King Ai said unhappily, you wear your apron behind your back. What? Cook with your back? Can your butt be used as a nose? Chen Shen turned around again and faced Xia King Ai. Bow down. There was a certain height difference between the two, and Chen Shen bowed his head. Xia King Ai stretched out his hand and put the apron on Chen Shen, and the distance between the two was infinitely shortened. At the dining table, Zhong Wenbei and Zhou Gaikan unconsciously clenched their fists. Beast. Fang Ye took a deep breath, looked away, turned his back to the kitchen, and then smiled at Zhou Gaikan and Zhong Wenbei and said, eat meat, otherwise it will get cold. Zhou Gaikan replied unconsciously, it doesn't matter whether the meat is cold or not, the key is that your heart is cold. Zhong Wenbei nodded, clenched his fists and gritted his teeth and said, brother Ye, if I had known this, I would have taken a break today. Fang Ye glared, you are sick, I don't understand what you are saying. In the kitchen, Chen Shen sighed in Xia King Ai's ear, you cruel woman. Xia King Ai said provocatively, it's wide on the top and narrow on the bottom, and you have a good figure. Chen Shen laughed, you fried the sugar color and it's burnt. Xia King Ai sniffed and turned around quickly. The sugar color fried with rock sugar in the pot has begun to emit black smoke. Xia King Ai gritted her teeth and said in a delicate voice, Chen Shen. Chen Shen shrugged, it's okay, I bought enough rock sugar, let's do it again. Xia King Ai poured out the black mass in the pot, feeling a little annoyed. They played tricks on each other, but Chen Shen was still playing tricks on her. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. Xia King Ai stretched out her hand and pinched Chen Shen. Chen Shen stepped back and laughed. However, the smile on Chen Shen's face froze for a moment, and he saw Su Yuan. At the door of the restaurant, Su Yuan, still carrying her bag, walked in with a surprised look on her face. She was more straightforward, and walked straight to Chen Shen, without even saying hello to Fang Ye and the others. I didn't expect that I could still see you wearing an apron, Su Yuan smiled. Su Yuan's words had no other meaning, just pure surprise. Because her emotions had already fluctuated several times, the sense of security given by Chen Shen was enough, equivalent to the kind of vaccination. Another thing was that she hadn't seen the situation clearly. Because she was looking forward to the end of the day's get off work, at this moment, she only had Chen Shen in her eyes, and didn't pay much attention to Xia King Ai's position as the chef. However, when Su Yuan's words fell into the ears of the spectators, they all sat up straight. Zhou Gaikan finally had a little smile on his face, you bastard, I don't think you dare to mess around, damn. Zhong Wenbei clenched his fists even tighter, Sister Yuan, wake up quickly and see the ugly face of that man. Fang also let out a long breath, this party should be over. Chen Shen smiled and said, is it beautiful? Su Yuan nodded, not bad, not bad, she looks quite virtuous. Hey, why is King Ai here? Maybe it's because I want to cook, Xia King Ai replied. Su Yuan frowned, and then observed the surroundings. The island was full of dishes, and the dishes were neatly prepared. There were also food on the tables of the people behind him. Xia King Ai also wore an apron, and after being restrained by the apron, her figure was very prominent. Wait, why is she wearing stockings on her legs? Su Yuan narrowed his eyes and looked at Chen Shen, what did you do today? Chen Shen followed Su Yuan's gaze and glanced at Xia King Ai's legs, then continued, why did you get off work so late today? Su Yuan's brain stopped working for a moment, then walked to Chen Shen's side and whispered, I want to, but our team leader gave me a lot of work today, and I almost had to work overtime. Chen Shen sighed, I thought I could. Su Yuan pouted, and his tone was a little coquettish, oh, it's okay, I'm back now. Thanks to book friends 220235995 Lily I for the reward. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Ching Mi Se. Chapter 62. Su Yuan stood almost next to Chen Shen, arms touching. Even though he was separated by several layers of clothes, Su Yuan felt like he could feel the warmth of Chen Shen's body. His attention was also divided into two parts, one was on talking to Chen Shen, and the other was on his arms. Why bother, I'll do it, Su Yuan said softly as he watched Chen Shen scratching the potato skins unfamiliarly. Chen Shen smiled, looked down on people. Su Yuan blinked, rookie, good at it and loves to play. Only Chen Shen and Su Yuan could understand these words at the scene. Although Su Yuan still didn't know why Chen Shen pretended not to know how to cook, Su Yuan wanted to protect Chen Shen's naivete. He doesn't know how to cook at the beginning, but he can cook at the end. Will anyone scold him for pretending when it's broadcast? Then just play with him. Next to him, Xiaoqing poured a handful of ribs into the pot, and the water stains were mixed with sugar and oil, and they burst out. Xiaoqing kept paying attention to Chen Shen from the corner of her eye. He might have figured out Fang Ye, and Chen Shen must have figured out Su Yuan. As both women, in this situation, Su Yuan and Chen Shen seemed to be isolated from the world, indicating that a relatively deep bond had been established between them. Compared to himself and Fang Ye, he seems to be more stable. On the contrary, the psychological pressure must be greater. Sauté the ribs until fragrant, add water, then cover the pot, and Xiaoqing walks to the stove closer to Chen Shen. At the dining table, Fang also straightened his body and whispered, sometimes, talking too much seems to be too preachy, but I feel that you have gone astray, and the little people will follow suit. Xiaobai, you have to reflect. Zhong Wenbei frowned, and Sister N came back, as if everything had been resolved. What he saw, heard, and felt seemed to be really just what he saw, heard, and felt, deviating from the truth. Zhou Gaikan looked at Fang Ye and interjected, do you feel like a big stone has fallen from your heart? Fang Ye chuckled, you're too young, you're looking down on everyone. They are all non-spicy dishes. It should be okay to change the taste occasionally, Xiaoqing I muttered as he poured the pork belly into the pot. This stove is right next to Chen Shen and the others. The words fell clearly into the ears of Chen Shen and Su Yuan. Su Yuan didn't react at first and wanted to answer. After thinking about it for a while, he glanced at Chen Shen. There are only two people in the villa who can't eat spicy food, one is Chen Shen and the other is Su Mo. What does Xiaoqing I mean? The masters exchanged moves and until the point was reached, Xiaoqing put the lid on the pot and looked at Chen Shen with a smile, is it reliable? This was in response to Chen Shen's words about people being unreliable when Su Yuan hadn't come back yet. It is completely in line with Xiaoqing I's desire to compete, but this sentence only belongs between Xiaoqing I and Chen Shen. Chen Shen smiled and nodded, but looked at Su Yuan, are you reliable, chef? Su Yuan was stunned for a moment, glanced at the stove, then moved closer to Chen Shen, and said with a smile, I'm not a chef, you want to see my joke, right? Chen Shen smiled and said, how is it possible? I have only read a little bit in books about cooking. Su Yuan burst out laughing, that's really bad. Xiaoqing frowned and punched cotton. Su Yuan glanced at Xiaoqing I inexplicably proudly, thinking, I'm confused, this guy Chen Shen is really bad, and yesterday he used said in the book to give me guidance. Go put your bag away. Good. Su Yuan trotted out. This time, it was Chen Shen's turn to provoke, how about it, chef, am I doing a good job? As soon as Xiaoqing gritted her teeth, her hand unconsciously reached Chen Shen's waist, and then her thumb and index finger began to exert force. Hiss. Chen Shen glared, retaliating with tooth, and reached his hand to Xia King Ai's waist. Ah! Xia King Ai jumped away like a frightened bird, her face turning red. Chen Shen suppressed his laughter and began to clean up the potato peelings on the island. There were several sounds of gnashing teeth at the dining table. Fang also followed the gazes of Zhou Gaikan and Zhong Wenbei and glanced towards the kitchen. What's wrong? Xia Qing glared at Chen Shen. She had been preparing for the whole day just so that she could get along with Chen Shen up close without embarrassment. Now it seems that it has indeed been done. Her physical contact with Chen Shen was not awkward. Chen Shen didn't seem embarrassed to have physical contact with himself. This behavior seemed to become a secret transmitter between the two. I really didn't understand some of the words between Chen Shen and Su Yuan, but why was Su Yuan so arrogant? There is a bigger secret between us. When Su Yuan came in again, there was a delicate-looking girl beside him, and Su Mian was back. After greeting each other, Su Mian naturally walked to Chen Shen, and then took the garlic he was peeling from Chen Shen's hand. Without saying a word, he just peeled the garlic silently. Chen Shen asked, "Did you bring the computer back?" Su Mian hummed. Xia King Ai was stunned by this move, not to mention Su Yuan. But she seemed very harmonious. Su Mian, hadn't she always been like this? She spoke very little and only stayed with Chen Shen, or in other words, she only took the initiative to get close to Chen Shen. You could say it's love, but it doesn't look like it. The two of them talk little when they're together, and there's no pink bubble. Su Yuan walked over and said angrily, Mian, this guy has had a day's rest." Su Mian snorted, but didn't stop moving her hands. "How about we go out and play? Let them cook for us." Su Yuan was not giving up. Su Mian shook her head, "It's not fun outside." Xia King Ai laughed out loud, she felt like she had found a breakthrough. Su Yuan didn't seem to have a good way to deal with Su Mian. "Well, Chen Shen, someone can help. Would you like to help me watch the pot or cut the potatoes?" Xia King Ai leaned over and asked. Chen Shen and Su Yuan hadn't spoken yet, but Su Mian looked up and said, "He can't." Ahem, I don't know why Xia King Ai felt a little embarrassed, and explained inexplicably, "It's not difficult, just help me watch the pot, just call me when the water is dry." Su Mian frowned, then stuffed the garlic in her hand into Su Yuan's hand. "I'll show you, he can't see it." Su Yuan and Xia King Ai were both stunned. Only Chen Shen was so happy. This is a socially anxious person. When a socially anxious person is inexplicably not socially anxious, everyone is socially anxious. Well, then. Xia King Ai didn't know why he agreed to this. At the dining table, Zhou Gaikan sighed heavily and got up and went out. Fang Ye really relaxed. The more chaotic the situation was, the more unfamiliar Chen Shen and Xia King Ai seemed to be. "Xiaobai, you are confused. Why don't you listen to anyone else? You have to listen to Akan. Look, he can't stand himself," Fang Ye said to Zhong Wenbei earnestly. Zhong Wenbei frowned. "Is that because he can't stand himself?" "That's because he can't stand Chen Shen." "Okay. Brother Shen is so shameless. Just now, Sister N went out and played with King Ai, taking advantage of others. I saw it all." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 63. 2 pots, for Su Mian, it's a piece of cake. Sweet and sour pork ribs can't be stewed too soft, otherwise there will be no meaty aroma. Su Mian opened the lid of the pot before the water dried up. Xia King Ai saw it and opened her mouth several times to say that I should do it myself. At this moment, Xia King Ai understood why she was led by Su Mian. Because there was no foreshadowing, the other party would not care whether you were embarrassed or not, or whether it was reasonable or not. It's normal for Sumian to say these words with this kind of personality. If you refute or don't respond, it will seem like you are abnormal. Seasoning, collecting sauce, and when the water is exhausted and the oil is out, the unique color of sweet and sour pork ribs will appear, and then pour vinegar again, and the fragrance will be fragrant. Amazing. Xiaoqing I couldn't help but praise. The dishes on the plate looked like samples in the short video, tempting Xiaoqing I's original motivation to cook by herself. Sumian retreated to the side of Chen Shen and didn't say anything. Next, it was up to Xiaoqing I to do it herself, and she didn't think about it anymore. Sumian seemed to have magic power, and could cool down the scene instantly. To exaggerate a little, Xiaoqing I felt that if the best temperature for her living environment was 18 to 23 degrees, Sumian must be able to adapt to the temperature of about 15 degrees. They were both girls, but they were like two different creatures. Chen Shen was happy and relaxed, and looked at Sumian with approval. It was good not to spend energy to deal with such a scene. Sumo's voice sounded outside, and Chen Shen and Sumian began to serve the dishes to the table. Fang Ye came to help at this time. Xiaoqing I untied her apron from behind, and after noticing that Sumian and Chen Shen went to the dining table, she said, "They will probably have a date tomorrow." Su Yuan, who was serving rice next to him, slowly slowed down his movements. At the dinner table, everyone had their own thoughts, and they didn't talk much to each other. Fang Ye, who was the most active before, also became silent. Xiaoqing I had been paying attention to Chen Shen. She knew that the second date was the key point. If there was no turning point, it would be a foregone conclusion. When Sumian stopped eating and began to fidget, Chen Shen also put down his chopsticks. "I'm full, you guys take your time." Sumian hurriedly followed and said, "I'm full, you guys take your time." Then they all stood up and went out. This scene fell into Su Yuan's eyes, and his expression became more complicated. The rest of the people were not surprised. This scene was not the first time they saw it. "I'm full too, you guys take your time." Xiaoqing I suddenly put down his chopsticks. Several people frowned. But Xiaoqing I was the chef, so he didn't need to be polite today. Su Yuan came back to his senses, then looked back at Chen Shen and Sumian, who had already gone to the living room, and was about to put down his chopsticks. Who knew that another person would move faster? "Su Mo, I'm so full, you guys take your time, I'll clean up later." Su Yuan pouted, "Sister Mo, what are you doing again?" In the living room, Sumian and Chen Shen had just walked to the sofa area when a sound came from behind them. Xiaoqing I came out and ran straight to Chen Shen. Chen Shen looked at her, waiting for the next words. "Go out for a walk." "Okay." When Su Mo came out, Sumian was the only one left in the living room. Su Mo came to Sumian and saw Chen Shen and Xiaoqing I walking side by side outside through the French window. During the day, Su Mo negotiated with Chen Hotpot for the second time on behalf of leading capital. Not only did she meet Chen Ruxi again, she also met Chen Qinyu, Chen Shen's sister. Some things became clear to Su Mo. Su Mo covered Sumian's eyes as if jokingly, "Children, don't look." Sumian reached out and grabbed Su Mo's hand. "Sister Mo, help him." Su Mo was surprised. "Help who?" "Help Chen Shen." Sumian nodded, then moved closer to Su Mo and whispered in Su Mo's ear, "My dad said that artists of Xiaoqing I's level who come here are definitely not here for love. Although I don't like my dad very much, he won't lie." Su Mo rubbed Sumian's head and smiled, "So you are afraid that Chen Shen will be cheated?" Sumian nodded, "Yeah. Even if he was cheated in this kind of thing, he deserves it. I don't want him to be cheated." Su Mo was stunned and said unhappily, "Silly girl, instead of worrying about others, you might as well worry about yourself. Maybe Chen Shen is also lying to you. Su Mian shook her head. He didn't lie to me. Why? Because he told me that he didn't come here to fall in love. Su Mo frowned, looked outside, and asked 3 questions in a row. He told you all this? When did he tell you? Why are you so concerned about him? Su Mian lay on the sofa and looked outside. On the day Xiaoqing came, I told him when we were walking. I also told him that my mother asked me to come here. Su Mo didn't quite understand, but seemed to understand. Strange brain circuit. So Su Mian didn't care that Chen Shen didn't give her the letter? Chen Shen came here, really for other purposes? The key is that he even told Mian this. Su Mo suddenly snorted, not being loyal, taking him to work every day, but not telling me? Outside, the deep blue sky seemed to be sprinkled with a handful of sparkling fine sand, and it was still bright in places where the city lights could not reach. 2 lights, 2 feelings. After walking a long way, Xiaoqing I turned to Chen Shen and said, "Are you free tomorrow?" Chen Shen shook his head and laughed. He held his laughter for a long time. "That's it? Are you asking me out?" Xiaoqing nodded, "But only tomorrow. As long as you dare to agree, I dare to date you." Chen Shen shook his head. "Forget it." Xiaoqing I had a smile on his face. "Don't you dare? You're afraid that Su Mian and Su Yuan won't be able to accept it, especially if they are behind me." Chen Shen put his hands in his pockets and glanced at Xiaoqing I. "I'm afraid brother Ye won't be able to accept it." He. Xiaoqing kicked away the pebbles on the roadside, and her slender and well-proportioned legs were particularly eye-catching under the street lights. "Then I'll take a step back. The bottom line is the day after tomorrow." Chen Shen sighed, "Brother Ye, be nice." Xiaoqing I also sighed, "Why don't you be nicer to Su Yuan? Compared with you, I'm still far behind." "I don't agree with the first sentence, but I agree with the second sentence," Chen Shen said with a smile. Xiaoqing I was a little angry again. From yesterday to now, he was always deeply annoyed by Chen. "That is to say, you must be generous, otherwise the plate of oranges will cause trouble for Chen Shen. You are not sincere. I am honest with you, but you are playing tricks on me. Me dating you is equivalent to returning to the starting line. Of course, maybe I have taken advantage of it. After all, there are 3 female guests interested in you now. And I only have Fang Ye here, but you, Chen Shen, can date me, Xiaoqing I, while dating other people in the love drama. Whether it is true or not, for you, after it is broadcast, it is you took advantage of me." Xiaoqing walked up to Chen Shen and stood in front of Chen Shen. "So, I will give you 1 day to think about it. Before this point tomorrow night, these words will still count. If you don't come to me after tomorrow night, I won't. I'll tell you one more thing." Chen Shen stopped and looked at Xiaoqing I seriously. "Okay, let me be sincere. In my plan, there is no such link at all, because I am confident that I can find it in other ways. The ending must be I beat you, but if you, Xiaoqing I, need this date, I can promise you and give you 1 day to think about it. If you haven't changed your mind before this time tomorrow night, I will go on a date with you. But remember, the change in this decision was not because of other people, but because of you, Xiaoqing I, who has bloomed and dared to take risks without being knocked down by the trough period, and is still moving forward enthusiastically." Xiaoqing was stunned, and his eyes suddenly turned into stars in the sky, shining brightly. "I don't know if it's because of the cold, but the goosebumps on my arms are popping up layer by layer." After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoqing I looked away at Chen Shen and said, "You are not sincere at all." Chen Shen turned around and walked back. "Whatever you think." Behind him, Xiaoqing I's voice came, "I won't consider it anymore, I dare to promise you now." Chen Shen waved his hand to indicate that he understood. Thanks to the two brothers gnawing the bark when I'm hungry and wake up the corpse at midnight for the reward. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Ching-Jo-mi Se. Chapter 64. On the chairs on the terrace, Su-Emo and Su-mian each had an extra blanket. Su-mian leaned on the chair, looking at the stars in the sky, the blanket covering most of her body. When she heard the movement, she retracted her gaze to the sky. Chen Shen bent down and put the pair of light pink slippers that Su-mian took off on the floor straight. Su-mian's socks were light yellow, and her feet looked well proportioned and petite. Sister Mo said she has something to tell you, Su-mian said to Chen Shen. Next to her, Su-Mo stood up, looking confused. She still wanted to watch the fun. Su-Yuan stayed in the living room, stood up and sat down several times, and Su-Mo saw it. Chen Shen looked at Su-Mo. Su-Mo sighed and stood up. The same road, different people, naturally different mentality. Su-Mo was still wearing the light blue blanket, her hair was tied on her head, and a quick glance was the elegance and nobility that came to her face. Judging from her face, Su-Mo has the most prominent facial features, and her feminine beauty is more prominent. Didn't you go home today? This was the first thing Su-Mo said. Chen Shen nodded. I didn't answer my sister's call either. You don't have a good relationship with your father. Very good. Then why didn't he call you? Chen Shen thought for a while, maybe it's for face. My son is suddenly stronger than me, so he has to wait for me to find him. At least he has to be stronger in face. So conceited. On the glass plank road, Su-Mo tightened the blanket. It wasn't cold, but she felt that the night and the evening breeze needed a blanket. The night and the evening breeze could not be caught, but the blanket was on her. Chen Shen thought Su-Mo was going to ask a lot of questions, but she stopped unexpectedly. Catering is not easy to do, Chen Shen took the initiative to say. At least it's an industry. You still have this kind of plot. Su-Mo didn't answer Chen Shen's question, but turned to look at him. Your father took me to see someone. Is his surname Qin or Lu? Su-Mo smiled. Chen Shen did not actually participate in Chen Hotpot's affairs, but he did affect the direction of Chen Hotpot. From Su-Mo's perspective, it was very subtle. Her next goal is indeed the catering industry, but who exactly? It can be Chen Hotpot or Zhang Hotpot. Before this, Chen Hotpot will only have two endings, one is bankruptcy, and the other is merger and liquidation. The former will more or less leave Chen Ruxi a little dignity, not being eaten, and dying standing. The latter is being kicked out, which will probably be a classic case in the catering industry. Chen Ruxi will definitely choose to die standing, and Su-Mo will definitely choose the latter, introducing a third party to slowly eat away Chen Ruxi. Even if Chen Ruxi wants to fight to the death and directly file for bankruptcy, it is also a famous butcher's achievement for Su-Mo. But Chen Shen brought Su-Mo to Chen Ruxi's villa, and the nature of the matter changed. In the past, Chen Ruxi, could be controlled by a little girl like you. What about now? They are all seniors and juniors who want to contribute to the catering industry. Qin Wenzi, the owner of Hanja Cave, and the president of Yuzhou Hotpot Association, Su-Mo answered without keeping the secret. Chen Shen nodded, and then sighed again. In the Yuzhou Hotpot industry, Qin Wenzi is the mainstream regular army, the elder sister, and the famous Hotpot queen. Chen Ruxi is a dark horse among the rising stars. As a former competitor, the elder sister may not have an opinion on the rising star, but the rising star is thinking about how to surpass the elder sister. Chen Ruxi finally bowed his head and asked for help from a third party. Chen Shen probably guessed that Qin Wenzi was the most sentimental elder sister compared to the other few. As long as Chen Ruxi bowed his head and asked for help, Qin Wenzi would most likely lend a hand. This matter is essentially a good thing for Yuzhou Hotpot. As long as the attitude and words are in place, Qin Wenzi can be impressed. Su Mo said softly, so, there is no question of face or not. When the child grows up, the father is willing to bow his head and make peace. Chen Shen nodded. Thank you. Chen Shen smiled and said, I have to say thank you to you too. The two smiled at each other in tacit understanding. Su Mo's thanks were to Chen Shen for helping her save a long detour. Chen Shen's thanks were to Su Mo's willingness to show mercy and not kick the old man out. Of course, there are prerequisites. That is, Chen Ruxi is willing to bow his head, or in other words, willing to play auxiliary instead of C position. As for the things that come later, whether they succeed or not, we have to wait and see. At least at this moment, they all have the intention to move forward together. I keep my word. Your probation period is over. Do you want to change jobs? Su Mo made a serious invitation to Chen Shen. Before Chen Shen could answer, Su Mo said, think about it first. Your sister told me about your situation. You are a former trainee of Black Gold Entertainment. You want to enter the entertainment industry, right? So, for you, the love variety show is probably a game. To put it in a more middle school way, or a gamble. Since it is a gamble, you can't just look at the size of the cards, but also the number of chips. Chen Shen smiled, Sister Mo is really amazing. Don't joke with me. I know you understand. Xiaoqing Ai has been in the world of fame and fortune for 4 or 5 years. You think you can control her if she treats you well after a few days of getting along? You are fishing, why can't she be fishing? It's not certain who bites whose hook. Su Mo is really amazing. Even if she didn't guess the so-called mission, she guessed it almost right after knowing everyone's details. From Su Mo's perspective, Chen Shen is very smart, but is Xiaoqing Ai stupid? From another perspective, if the two of them plot against each other, who will lose more? Xiaoqing Ai must lose more, so Xiaoqing Ai must win. This is the essence of what Su Mo sees. Let me tell you a simple truth. This is a program. The director is the key to how the program is finally presented. Do you think the director will listen to you or Yuan Media? Su Mo said again. Chen Shen looked at Su Mo and said softly, I know everything, Sister Mo, thank you. Su Mo frowned, smart people may have many advantages, but there must be a disadvantage, concede. Chen Shen laughed and retorted, there is another disadvantage, I like to reach out and pull the people I like. Su Mo chuckled, look, how conceited. Do you think I like you? It's not that kind of like. You have guessed a lot of things. Then I will say it clearly. I will not change jobs. The capital market not only needs profits, but also needs landing selling points and stories. Haidai Lao's selling point and story is service. What is your story? Chen Shen asked back. Su Mo sighed, so stubborn, it depends on whether your father and Qin Wenzi are willing to lower their status. Affordable price that others can't afford. Su Mo sighed again, how smart, you get it right at a glance, will being my assistant make you feel wronged or what? Chen Shen nodded, more or less relieved, the general direction is right. The most professional and profound brand, using the most affordable and down-to-earth approach. Abandon the core area and develop the suburbs around the central area. This is the plan that Chen Shen prepared for the old man. It coincides with Su Mo's idea. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 65. The breeze blows gently, you can't see it, but you can hear it. Su Mo feels that it's not in vain to come here, meeting Chen Shen and gaining a lot. Chen Shen looked at the cameras on the railings and understood something in his heart. Su Mo chose to say this here, not to protect herself, but already protecting herself. Chen Shen's heart softened, Sister Mo, as long as you need it, I will definitely not hold back if I can help you. Su Mo followed Chen Shen's gaze and saw the cameras shooting at the side. This is why Mian said I have something to find you. Chen Shen turned around and looked at the terrace on the other side of the villa. From here, you can only see a small figure curled up on the bench. Su Mian asked Su Mo to help Chen Shen, not to persuade him, but to help him in a real way. Su Mo chose to make some things clear to Chen Shen under the camera, just to tell the director of the program group to weigh his actions. Xiaoqing Ai has Yuan Media behind him, and Chen Shen is not bad either. So, which day are you going to leave for me? Su Mo changed the subject and her tone suddenly became more lively. Chen Shen turned around and glared, Sister Mo, don't mess with me. Su Mo laughed and said, help people to the end, send Buddha to the west, not for your face, I am doing it for Mian's face. It was originally a very easy thing to calculate, but Chen Shen started to count on his fingers. Mian one day, Xiaoqing Ai one day, Sister Mo one day, it's Monday, how to arrange it? Headache. Can you let me think about it? Chen Shen begged. Then you think about it slowly. After Su Mo finished speaking, she turned and left. Chen Shen stayed on the glass plank road alone for 3 minutes, and then started to walk back. Damn, it's just a show, do it more, and leave early. Before he reached the terrace, Su Yuan stood at the back door. Chen Shen was stunned, yes, there is another one. The same road, different people, how can the mentality be the same? In the night, Su Yuan walked beside Chen Shen, pouting her mouth high. The light of the street lamp hit her face. If you look closely, you can see some small fluff, and then there is no other impurities, white and clean. What did Sister Mo say to you? This sentence was changed to I am unhappy, probably with the same tone. Su Yuan spent a long time in the living room to build up himself, and Mian's situation was different. Last time I went on a date, I agreed to Zhou Gaikan first, so I will be more sensible and sincere, and let you and Mian make an appointment first. But what about Sister Mo? What about Xiaoqing Ai? There is something wrong, one by one. Chen Shen sighed, thinking that it was just on the show. In reality, dogs only touch creatures like women. Chen Shen felt that he would not feel pressure when getting along with anyone. For example, the well-known investor Su Mo, and the last glory of the Chinese girl group Xiaoqing Ai. Only facing Su Yuan, he was full of pressure. Because in the love variety show, Chen Shen only cheated on one woman, that is Su Yuan. Why did you come out now? But, he had to use tricks on her. Su Yuan was stunned and said unhappily, why should I come out? You are so busy. Chen Shen approached, you are watching someone die without helping him, right? Su Yuan snorted, but his tone softened, what are you going to do? Chen Shen sighed, I don't know, just walk with me. The two began to walk in circles. It was okay at first, but slowly the two of them stuck together, arm to arm. Su Yuan looked at Chen Shen from time to time, and seeing his frown, the grievance in his heart gradually dissipated. When passing the terrace, Su Yuan's grievance in his heart was almost gone. What are you looking at, is there anyone sticking to you? Continuing to walk, Su Yuan began to sigh. At first, she thought that love variety shows were so fun and fresh. What about now? It's not fun at all. Someone is competing with her for a man. Why didn't she discover Chen Shen's goodness earlier? Su Yuan was a little annoyed. Sure enough, what I can find out, others can find out too. Is it true that you can't refuse such a date according to the rules? Su Yuan asked softly. Chen Shen looked at Su Yuan and smiled as if to comfort him, it's okay, it's not a big problem. You, just be happy. The main thing is that I don't know what they are going to do. Brother Ye will definitely have an opinion on me. Su Yuan frowned and felt a little sorry for Chen Shen. Then he began to think about what they were going to do. Mian doesn't need to think about it. She has social phobia and doesn't have many contacts. If she wants to date, she can only find Chen Shen. Last time, Chen Shen didn't date Mian. Sister Mo was pretty good with brother Ye at the beginning, but I don't know what happened later. After Xia King Ai came, brother Ye started playing with Xia King Ai. It seems that Chen Shen is the only one who has more contact with Sister Mo. Xia King Ai is a strange person. She is good with brother Ye, but why does she come to bother Chen Shen? I could tell something was wrong with this person when I was cooking. When he served the dishes, he was still sarcastic, saying that Mian was going to date Chen Shen. He said it to himself. He wasn't targeting me, was he? Is a big star a little vain? She wants everyone to revolve around her? What's going on between you and Sister Mo? After thinking about it, Su Yuan couldn't figure out this point, so he asked Chen Shen. Chen Shen stopped, looked towards the villa, and said, "I'll tell you tomorrow." Su Yuan said oh and stopped. Then he took a small step back and whispered in Chen Shen's ear, "Tell me the day after tomorrow." The day after tomorrow in the afternoon. His ears were itchy from the hot breath exhaled by Su Yuan. Chen Shen turned his head and looked at Su Yuan with a complicated expression. Su Yuan smiled. She wore light makeup today, her lips were red and her teeth were white, and her smile was particularly sweet. Su Yuan patted Chen Shen's shoulder like a little adult, and imitated Chen Shen's tone and added, "It's okay, it's not a big problem. You should also be happy." Seeing that Chen Shen didn't respond for a long time, Su Yuan pouted and said, "Okay, don't be moved. There is no other way. I am not wronged myself. Why are you looking so sad? Can you please lighten up? Remember the last day we dated? It was also an afternoon. In fact, I thought about it afterwards and felt it was a pity. It would have been better if we had gone in the morning. How many more photos would we have taken? Yuzhou is so big, so I took a photo of Kaoshinman, so we are actually even." Chen Shen hummed, then squeezed Su Yuan's hand. Slippery and soft. Su Yuan lost his voice, his face turned slightly red, and the joy in his heart seemed to overflow. Just pinching, not holding, or pulling. But just like this, Su Yuan felt that this was probably the happiest moment in these days. Deep down, I was even filled with a little pride. Hum, I hope Yuan is awesome. On the terrace, Su Mo had stopped paying attention to Chen Shen and Su Yuan. Doesn't the sky full of stars look good? Want to see a big scumbag? With a face like Chen Shen's, he really deserves to be taught a lesson. You're a fool yourself, so why are you helping him? Next to her, the neat slippers under Su Mian's chair were messed up again at some point. She looked at the distance, at the stars, and then at the two people who were not moving, and whispered, "When can we play games?" Thanks to the two brothers Xianfeng Liadeng and Kevin J for their 100 coin reward. During the critical period, it is very important to follow up on reading. If you keep reading, it will definitely be popular if it is put on the shelves. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 66. The crescent moon hung in the sky at some point, becoming more eye-catching than the stars. It also means that the night is gradually getting deeper. The city began to quiet down. Su Yuan did not stick to Chen Shen too much. When walking to the gate, Su Yuan whispered, "I listen to you." Then he walked into the house with light steps. Chasing girls requires strategy, and the same is true for chasing boys. Su Yuan felt that he understood Chen Shen better than them. Whether he liked him or not, when others took the initiative, he would step back a little. Chen Shen would not fail to see it. his mind is sometimes more delicate than that of women. First emphasize that he only needs one afternoon, the afternoon of the last day, and then say that he should listen to him. When others are moving forward, a straight line is drawn out, but in fact they are still on the same line. However, if he stepped back a little, he would become the most special person. Strictly speaking, it is a routine, but also sincerity. Su Yuan thinks that love should be like this. When they are excited, they are happy and laughing, and when they are calm, they think about each other and go back and forth. What does Chen Shen think? The pressure is full. Is Mian not good? Sister Mo is not good? Yuan is not good. Looking up at the crescent moon, I don't know when it has become brighter than the stars. Chen Shen thinks that maybe it's time to change his mindset. Before this, why did Chen Shen treat every female guest with care? Because if he didn't care, they would see other male guests. After Xia King Ai came, Chen Shen needed to be more attentive to maintain the advantage he had established. But now it's different. In the show, in terms of camera content, he crushed Xia King Ai. This forced Xia King Ai to constantly adjust her strategy. Whether it's real interest or fake interest, it's promoting her contact with him. As long as Xia King Ai contacts him, Chen Shen will focus on Xia King Ai. Let her retreat or advance. Thus, she hesitates between winning and camera content and gives away her own advantage. At this moment, the key point has become Xia King Ai. Have you thought about it, busy man on the terrace? Su Mo looked at Chen Shen, who came over and teased. Chen Shen shrugged. Let's find a day next week to change the way of working. How about we go to Yuzhou to investigate the best-selling hot pot restaurant? Su Mo was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, different people are treated differently. Use working days to deal with people. Chen Shen smiled and ignored Su Mo's sarcasm. He knew that Su Mo would agree. Dating is not as interesting as career. Would you like to be your assistant for free for a day? Su Mo stood up and nodded. Okay, then I will reluctantly eat a few more hot pots with you. Ha, I'm sleepy, I'll go upstairs to wash up. Su Mo understood this matter. She looked down on it, but she felt it was a bit interesting in her heart. On the glass plank road, Chen Shen said that every big brand has advantages and stories. Advantages are selling points, and stories are publicity methods. The better they sound, the more deeply they are popular. The selling point has long been thought of, but how should this story be told? When entering the house, Su Mo looked back at Chen Shen. It was hard to tell who was helping whom. Su Mian and Chen Shen looked at each other, as if she also wanted to listen to how Chen Shen arranged to play with her. Come in, it's cold outside. Su Mian said, and poked her feet out of the blanket and stuffed them into slippers. Getting up, Su Mian looked back every few steps, looking at Chen Shen pitifully. Chen Shen smiled and said, what time tomorrow? Su Mian smiled, anything is fine. Back to the living room, there was no one in the living room. Su Mian held her computer bag and ran upstairs. Only when she reached the second floor did she remember something and looked back downstairs. Aren't you going to play games today? She then shook her head and said that it was okay to play tomorrow, and then she withdrew her gaze. When Chen Shen returned to the bedroom, Fang Ye was already lying on the bed. He was covered with a quilt, motionless. Chen Shen whispered, Brother Ye, are you asleep? No response. 5 minutes later, the quilt on Fang Ye's bed moved, and a voice came out, asleep. But there was no response either. I said I slept. Fang Ye lifted the quilt, the bedroom was empty, and the sound of running water came from the bathroom. Fang Ye got up, held the quilt and threw a set of combo punches at Chen Shen's bed. He. When Chen Shen came out of the shower, everything was normal. Fang Ye was still lying on the bed, covered with the quilt. Chen Shen nodded, it was good that he fell asleep. Brother yeah, Xiaoqing you can't control it. This kind of suffering, buddy will bear it for you. Tonight, there are so many people who can't sleep. Su Yuan lay on the lower bed, feeling a little uneasy. Did his little thoughts work or not? I said I would listen to him, why didn't he respond? Going to bed, Xiaoqing kept reviewing her contact with Chen Shen and the information she collected about Chen Shen in her mind. Looking good, having a sense of propriety, being able to coax people, and having a kind heart. This is Xiaoqing I's summary of Chen Shen's advantages. He is good looking, which means he is comfortable to get along with. He is tactful. When filming in the supermarket, he would subjectively select and record what he said, as well as the tact when getting along with others. He can coax people. He obviously felt that he and he were two different people, but he still chose to respect and understand. Xiaoqing understood a lot of things. Chen Shen seemed to have other plans for Su Yuan and the others. It was not just a lie or an act. This should be the reason why he persuaded himself to be nicer to the other party. Su Yuan chose to go with the flow, which was emotional and rational. Didn't you say that I should be nicer to the other party? Okay, then I will be nicer to him. But will you be nicer to me? Xiaoqing I's mind appeared Chen Shen's evaluation of himself. Xiaoqing who had bloomed and dared to take risks, was not knocked down by the trough period, and was still enthusiastic and moving forward. So, why didn't you define me? Xiaoqing muttered. Behind the advantages are also disadvantages. In this contest, the final comparison is not these advantages. Another bedroom. Someone couldn't sleep as well. Zhong Wenbei glanced at the door from time to time. Was there really no one knocking on the door? Can you stop making noise? You've made me unable to sleep, Zhou Gaiken's voice sounded. Zhong Wenbei looked left and right. He was just half lying on the bed. How could he make any noise? Brother can, Brother Shen wouldn't. Zhou Gaiken interrupted, you are so weird, so crazy. Zhong Wenbei sighed, you are fine. You haven't met anyone you are interested in. I am different. Hey. Zhou Gaiken stood up, script, it must be a script. Zhong Wenbei glared at first, then waved his hand and said, stop it. Let's not talk about ourselves. The process is so serious during the interview. Besides, will Xiaoqing cooperate with Brother Shen to act out the script? And Sister Mo, I have checked it out. Sister Mo is a well-known rising star in the capital circle. Zhou Gaiken lay back down. Indeed, it doesn't look like a script. If it is a script, it will benefit Xiaoqing II. Why does Chen Shen have the right to do it? It's too abstract. Even if it is a script, why don't you find someone who is in the entertainment industry like me? But it doesn't matter. Zhou Gaiken has already started writing a short essay. As long as he becomes a clown, he must confirm the script. No matter if it is true or not. If his brothers around him talked about these things, Zhou Gaiken had already thought about it. When the time comes, he will say something disdainfully in their faces, what era is this? There are still people who believe in variety shows? How childish. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 67. Saturday, Chen Shen got up early again. As usual, he washed and brushed his teeth lightly, then changed his clothes and went downstairs. At the foot of the stairs, he opened the mailbox and was stunned. 4 letters lay steadily inside. Chen Shen looked left and right, then took them out and stuffed them into his pocket. Oh, boring. I just got the money to appear on a dating show, why do I need all of it? Walking into the kitchen, Chen Shen was stunned again. There was a figure in light pink pajamas, leaning against the wall and dozing off, and the pot in front of him was already steaming. If it were before, Chen Shen would have walked in. However, the situation was different, and he slowly retreated to the living room. Go out from the front door and start running. The heat in the pot was getting more and more, and Su Yuan's body trembled inexplicably and opened his eyes. The first reaction was to check the time. It was 6:15? Why hadn't he come yet? Then he took out a piece of paper from the small pocket of his pajamas. It was one of the letters she received today. Can I take a day off on Monday? Su Yuan had a smile on his face. Who said there was no response? This was Chen Shen's response. There were 4 people, and each person only had 1 letter a day, but Chen Shen still gave this letter to him. Why Monday? Su Yuan thought that Chen Shen probably felt that half a day was not enough, and he needed a day to have fun. Turn down the fire, the steam gradually decreased, and a figure slowly ran past the window. The pace was steady and the breathing was even, which was really beautiful. Chen Shen didn't know how long he had been running, anyway, it was a jog, thinking about things, so he kept running. After he couldn't run anymore, he went to the terrace to rest. Su Mo, who was still skipping rope before, had already gone in. The sun hit his face, which was very comfortable. Su Yuan brought out the noodles and put them on the small table next to Chen Shen. Didn't we say we were going to run together? Why didn't you call me? Chen Shen looked at Su Yuan, running in pajamas. Su Yuan lowered her head and laughed, I'm so sleepy. I won't get up early tomorrow. Chen Shen started to eat noodles. Su Yuan sat on another chair. When you are under pressure, you need to relieve it. Su Yuan cares about me, and I started to take care of her emotionally. The rest remains unchanged, just remove this one first, and take it step by step. According to common sense, after eating your noodles, you shouldn't say that it's delicious. After Chen Shen finished eating, he just quietly put it on the small table next to him without saying anything. Su Yuan stretched and smiled sweetly, as if she didn't mind Chen Shen's lack of reaction at all. She took the empty bowl and went in without looking back. Chen Shen scratched his head, what was she laughing at? Inside the house, more and more people got up and gathered in the kitchen. Zhou Gaikan and Zhong Wenbei sat at the outermost of the dining table. The 2 fried eggs and cooked porridge. They were observing everyone's changes today. According to the rules, today is the first day of the second date. Chen Shen sat outside alone, and he didn't seem that happy or excited. Su Yuan was cooking noodles and washing dishes, very active. After Su Mo ate Su Yuan's noodles, she went upstairs and hasn't come down yet, so it's hard to tell. Fang Ye yawned as he came in, and saw Zhou Gaikan and Zhong Wenbei, and said cheerfully, Good morning, brothers, it's great not to go to work. Zhou Gaikan and Zhong Wenbei looked at each other with suspicion, are we really the only clowns? Brother Ye, good morning, do you want noodles? I'll cook for you, Su Yuan asked. Fang Ye walked over, okay, let me try your cooking skills. The water was boiling, so I threw a handful of noodles in, and then started to season. 2 minutes, pick up the noodles, add meat sauce, and a bowl of noodles is ready. So good. He learned it from Chen Shen. He likes to eat something harder. Fang Ye instinctively frowned, but he forced a smile on his face, really? My good brother also has this skill. The speaker is unintentional, but the listener is intentional. Su Yuan was afraid that Fang Ye knew Chen Shen could cook, so he immediately changed his words, Mian taught him. Fang Ye hummed and went to the dining table with the noodles. At the table, Fang Ye ate very happily. Zhou Gaikan was a little unsure and came over, Brother Ye, you are very energetic today. Fang Ye smiled, I am always like this. Zhong Wenbei also came over, Brother Ye, what are your plans for the morning? How about we play cards? Fang Ye was stunned and waved his hand, no time. Zhong Wenbei and Zhou Gaikan looked at each other again. Zhou Gaikan was okay, but Zhong Wenbei sighed directly. Did Xia King I go to Chen Shen last night and talk about something other than a date? Could it be that Xia King I asked Chen Shen to help her make an appointment with Fang Ye? Are we the only clowns? At this moment, Xia King I hurried into the kitchen, saw everyone, and smiled brightly. Early, it's urgent, I'll just get a piece of bread and go. I took a leave yesterday, which delayed a lot of things, and I had to work overtime on Saturday. From a work perspective, Xia King I felt that it was not a bad idea to meet Chen Shen today. After all, her work is inseparable from the team, and working overtime on Saturday is better than working overtime on weekends. After Xia King I left, Fang Ye coughed twice. I'm full, you guys eat slowly. After Fang Ye left, Zhong Wenbei was full of envy. That's great. Chen Shen went upstairs and took a shower before coming down. Then he saw Su Mian sitting on the sofa with her computer bag on her back. Seeing Chen Shen coming down, Su Mian stood up. Let's go. Yeah. Change shoes, go out, and walk side by side. At the gate of the yard, a black business car was waiting there early. When Chen Shen and Su Mian approached, the door opened automatically. The two got in the car. Chen Shen sat outside by the window, and Su Mian sat down next to him. Good morning, Uncle. Chen Shen greeted the front in a proper manner. Su Mian replied, Uncle Lu, his name is Chen Shen. The driver in front nodded and said with a smile, Good morning, then I'll drive. Su Mian hummed. When the car drove out of the villa area, Chen Shen suddenly frowned. Why does the man standing at the gate of the villa area smoking look so much like Brother Ye? Does Brother Ye smoke? Why are you running here so early in the morning? Su Mian lives on Nanbin Road, more than 40 minutes drive from the place where the Love variety show was filmed. When the car turned into the underground parking lot, Chen Shen was a little surprised. Surprised that Su Mian lived in such a lively place, and also surprised that he vaguely seemed to remember that his sister Chen Qinyu also lived nearby. The car stopped beside the elevator, and Uncle Lu got out and swiped his card to get into the elevator. Su Mian took out another card and swiped it, and the 26th floor lit up. Outside the elevator, Uncle Lu watched the two people go upstairs, but did not follow them. After a long time, Uncle Lu sighed. First, he did not help Mian carry her bag. Second, he did not let Mian get in the car first. Third, he did not take the initiative to talk, nor was he humorous. And fourth, he took out his mobile phone, found a phone number with the note Mr. Su, edited a text message and sent it. It's quite standard. 4 very simple words, without any emotional color. Despite many reasons for disliking him, Uncle Lu can only express the most conservative opinion. But he knows that people who read the message will understand. In the elevator, Chen Shen breathed a sigh of relief. It's tiring to be comprehensive, and it's also tiring to pretend to be a fool. After the key point changed, Chen Shen's strategy also changed. For Su Yuan, slowly cool down. As for Su Mian, guide her towards being a good friend, and take advantage of coming to her house to leave a bad impression on the people around her. Once they become good friends, her family can persuade her, and then Su Mian should have no pressure. Thanks to the good brother. What is this for the 500 coin reward? Thanks to the friends who helped correct the typos. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show. Why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 68. Coming out of the elevator, Su Mian paused. Because there was a cameraman guarding the door to shoot. Left or right? Chen Shen asked. Left. Fortunately, the cameraman only sent us to the door and did not enter the house. However, Su Mian's home was equipped with a lot of cameras of all sizes. Su Mian found a pair of slippers for Chen Shen, cotton, very soft, pure white. My mother installed them. I installed them once during the interview. Su Mian pointed at the cameras and said. Chen Shen nodded. It was the normal process of a love variety show. In order to make the amateurs accustomed to being filmed, they would install cameras at home so that the guests could get used to it in private. Live alone? Chen Shen asked. Sumian nodded. After a rough look, there was at least a large river view flat of more than 200 square meters. Kaoshinman was just opposite. If it was at night, the enclosed balcony was the best viewing platform facing the night view of Yuzhou. I am timid and not used to living in a big house, Sumian added. Chen Shen. The huge floor-to-ceiling windows with no gaps and no dead angles, the intersection of the two rivers, can be seen at a glance. The dining room and the living room are directly connected, and the double door is at least 20 meters deep. How can such a house be a small house? Chen Shen is a little envious. From this angle, I took a video and posted it online. I don't know how many people envy it. Sumian ignored Chen Shen, rolled up her trouser legs, revealing her white socks, and then stepped on her small slippers, tapping like a porter. Oranges, grapes, cherries, small dried fruits, small snacks are piled one by one on the small shelf next to the coffee table. Chen Shen looked back and noticed Sumian's little excitement and confusion. The slippers he wore were all women's. There was no trace of her father in this house. Chen Shen walked over. It's 9 o'clock now. Let's play until 12 o'clock and cook. Do you have any food at home? Sumian stopped running to the right room and said, yes. After that, she ran to the kitchen again, took a tablet and swiped a few times, and the background of the refrigerator appeared on the tablet. There are shrimps, beef, ham, and vegetables. So rich. Sumian hummed, moved closer and whispered, my mother can also see my refrigerator. If there is nothing, she will find someone to replenish it. If it is not fresh, she will also find someone to replace it. If I eat less one day, she will also send me a question mark. Chen Shen laughed. My mother used to control me very much. Later, I also controlled her. She was annoyed and made 3 rules with me, not to care about trivial matters. Chen Shen recalled how Chen Ruxi educated his children. Then my dad and your mom are 2 extremes. He doesn't care about me, and he just lets me go. When I was a kid, they didn't care about me either. My mom started to care about me when I was in high school. She changed my school and lived with me. Oh, I'll show you around. Okay. At first, Chen Shen felt like a lonely girl suddenly had a friend at home. Then she would have to take out all her food and toys. It wasn't until the two of them stopped in front of Sumian's esports room that Chen Shen suddenly realized that love was really for playing games. Sumian pushed open the door of her esports room, and Chen Shen felt a flash in front of his eyes. Overall, white is the main color, and black is the secondary color. On one side is the electronic equipment wall, and various peripherals fill the entire wall. On the other side is Sumian's computer, and there are many game character figures on it. The outer floor is marble, the same as the living room, and the inner floor is covered with light gray carpet. When the warm-toned lights are turned on, the space seems to shrink, which is both warm and exquisite. Sumian looked at Chen Shen, do you want to play? Chen Shen nodded, okay. Sumian smiled and ran out. Soon, the shelf full of snacks was pushed in by her. She took several kinds of drinks and put them on the shelf. Sumian pulled the white gaming chair, you sit here. This is the computer I usually play on. This one was just installed. I'll try it out to see if it works. Chen Shen nodded and sat over. Sitting on the gaming chair, Chen Shen began to think about what games he could play. Combining past and present lives, it seems that there is only one League of Legends. I don't know much about later games like Teamfight Tactics. Sumian turned on the power of the two computers. Things like playing games are not told to others in the circle she contacts. Except for her mother, her father may not know that she likes to play games. I seem to only know League of Legends, and I'm not good at it. Sumian turned the chair and looked at Chen Shen, then let's play League of Legends. Chen Shen nodded and started to log into the account. Let's play, I've been talking about it for so long. However, you can't play with two people, good friends play together, you need 5. Chen Shen looked at the black ID, a little confused. There are still 2 or 3 online, but it seems that he doesn't know any of them. Looking at Sumian, there is no one in her friend list. I'll find someone, let's play together as 5. Chen Shen looked at Sumian. Sumian nodded, okay. In Sumian's plan, she originally wanted to take Chen Shen to play the kind of online games with beautiful pictures and beautiful characters, because these are simpler. After this period of contact, Chen Shen doesn't seem to play games much. Sumian thinks that Chen Shen can play however he wants, as long as he finds it interesting, that's the key, so that they can play together later. It's hard to find a suitable gaming partner, especially for Sumian. Sister, do you want to play games? Chen Shen sent a WeChat message to Chen Kinyu. Soon, Chen Kinyu's WeChat message came back, is there something wrong with you? Why did you go on Friday? You couldn't see the message I sent earlier? You didn't reply on purpose, right? Are you pretending to be an expert? Don't play with me. I'll wait for you to go to work on Monday. Why don't you ask Mr. Chu if he plays League of Legends? It would be interesting. Roll. Chen Shen frowned, troubled. Sumian burst out laughing. She originally felt that she and Chen Shen were quite similar in many objective circumstances. Just like the last time I went with Chen Shen to his place of residence, I didn't live at home or find friends, and then stayed in a hotel alone. Sumian felt that Chen Shen also liked playing with her. So when you get along with him, you won't have any pressure. Of course, the result of this is that you can't find anyone to play the game, or you can't find the right person. Sumian was like this before, but now. Sumian thought she might have found it. Just when Chen Shen was hesitating whether to play with just 2 people, a message suddenly popped up in the dialog box. Brother? Is it you, brother? Chen Shen was confused. Scar. Who? Who are you? Wenwen, Chen Wenwen, your dear sister, brother G said you are back. Why don't you come to play with us? Chen Shen remembered that the second uncle's daughter should be a sophomore in college now. Chen Shen is the youngest of his generation. I suggest you change your game ID and then contact me. Haha, look at the gender of my ID, it's also male. Come on, brother Scar will take you flying. The game invitation popped up. Chen Shen clicked accept. Brother. Where are you? Why don't you come to see me? My life is so miserable. As soon as he entered the team, a clear girlish voice sounded in the language. The small room was very quiet, and the gaming headphones were placed on the table. Chen Shen heard the other party's voice clearly. Chen Shen frowned and ignored Chen Wenwen, but looked at Sumian. Do you mind playing with her? Sumian shook her head to indicate that she didn't mind, and then put on her headphones. Who? It can't be. Chen Shen interrupted Chen Wenwen and said while adding Sumian as a game friend, be gentle, a good friend. In Chen Shen's understanding, the nature of Wu Hei is more objective than that of double row. 3 light bulbs won't produce pink bubbles, right? Moreover, most of the exchanges with Sumian were normal information exchanges. If this happened to Su Yuan, he would not only feel bored, but also feel abrupt. Why should I find someone to play with when I am playing with you? Do you really not want to play alone with me? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 69. Where's your brother? Chen Shen also put on headphones. I don't know. Let him go online. How could he listen to me? No, I said if you let him go online, he will definitely listen to you. The girl's voice really began to become gentle. In memory, compared with Zhang Kaija, Chen Shen and Chen Wenwen had a better relationship. Zhang Kaija was considered the primary school bully in the family. Among them, their parents often used Zhang Kaija as an example. Chen Shen was okay, after all, he was the leader of the family in the line of Chen Ruxi. But Chen Wenwen and the others were often compared, and over time, they especially liked to play with Chen Shen, the big brother. Susu? Is it a little sister? I thought it was some handsome artist friend. Su Mian opened the microphone and said hello. Your voice is really nice. Is your sister from Yuzhou? Is she still studying? Brother, are you still there? At this moment, Chen Shen and Su Mian both put their headphones on their necks. Some opened drinks, some ate snacks. There was no time to pay attention to the chatterbox in the headset. Brother G? Why are you here? In the game team, there was a new person with the ID Gize, the version of quitting the game. I heard what you shouted in our group. Where's my elder brother? My elder brother ignored me. Where's Chen Mo? Here I come. AKA Xiao Mo, your emperor is back. Psycho. Don't think that I won't scold you just because you are my sister. Where's my elder brother? Is he there, elder brother? I heard that you showed off your prowess in the old house and defeated my aunt and the others. Ahem. What are you talking about? Brother G is here too? You see, I said that my elder brother had to come back to support the scene. You still didn't believe it? My mother said that my elder brother only showed up at the villa, and then my uncle changed his mind. What do you mean? What happened at home? Kid, go away. You won't understand even if I tell you. Chen Mo, do you believe me? I will sue you. Chen Shen had a headache listening to the chatter in the earphones. Su Mian silently turned down the volume of the receiver, but the earphones were already on her head and she listened with relish. Who is the owner of the room? Let's start the game, Chen Shen interrupted them. What a friendly voice, he really is the elder brother. The last time we played games together was 2 years ago. Let's start the game. I'm going. Brother Shen. Chen Shen nodded. Susu and I will go down, you can choose. Taking this opportunity to integrate into the family is an unexpected gain. After entering the game, Chen Wenwen really started to complain. Brother, I want to report that Chen Mo went to rap with his friends. I will send you their works later. I laughed all night. That's also called a song. AKA Xiao Mo, you are sick, right, brother? Don't listen to her nonsense. That's called a dream. I believe you understand me. I am unswervingly following your steps. Let's meet at the top. Scar, brother, I also want to report that Xiao Mo has dreadlocks, which are so ugly. Last time he came to school to find me, I didn't dare to recognize him. AKA Xiao Mo, I get angry when I talk about this. I went to find you and invited you to dinner, but you turned around and left when you saw me, and said you didn't know me. Did I embarrass you? Brother G, you let her play in the wild. If she can eat one of the toads, I will lose. Gize, the hard-working version of quitting the game. Hey, Xiao Mo, you should come and help me. It's not that Chen Shen is cold, it's that the memory is too unfamiliar and hasn't switched yet. Su Mian seemed to understand Chen Shen's silence, and silently pushed several fruits in front of Chen Shen. Originally, they were chatting enthusiastically, but after seeing Chen Shen choose a cat on the 5th floor, everyone quieted down. I thought that he was going down with the girl to show off in front of her. In the end, he was led by the girl. It was not until they entered the game that Chen Wenwen burst out laughing, and then she couldn't stop. Scar, no, I want to take a screenshot, I'm dying of laughter. Geez, the version of quitting the game my cards, those who understand will understand, just wait for my ultimate move. AKA Xiao Mo, what are you laughing at, do you think it's your cat? Chen Shen, kick the one called Scar out next time. Scar, Chen Shen saw another side of Sumian, she was really focused on playing games. The light from the computer screen reflected on her face, giving her a crystal clear feeling. Chen Shen felt that this kind of 5-person game should not be considered an effective date. Playing like a marginal person, choosing a cat, sticking to vein chosen by Sumian, watching her last hit and consume the opponent like flowing water, without saying anything, and even eating some small fruits lazily. What about Sumian? Her little face was flushed. Every time Chen Shen's cat came on her, Sumian would glance at Chen Shen from the corner of his eye. He chose a cat? Was it intentional? Brother Shen, when can we have dinner together? John Kaija made an invitation in the voice. During the critical period of Chen Hotpot, it seemed that it was about to go to a desperate situation, but suddenly it turned around, but the future was still uncertain. Judging from some fragmented information, Chen Shen, the big brother, seemed to have played a significant role. Why did John Kaija follow Chen Wenwen immediately when he saw Chen Mo online in the group? He just wanted to talk to Chen Shen. However, there was an outsider, so it was difficult to ask many things. Chen Wenwen immediately responded, I want to go too. You guys eat, I don't have time, Chen Shen replied. John Kaija didn't give up, how about I come to find you now? AKA Xiaomo, yeah, what's fun about the game, big brother, where are you, we'll come to find you. Just then, a voice suddenly appeared in the language, can the middle lane not die? The team suddenly became quiet. Chen Wenwen reacted and immediately replied, that's right, can the middle lane not die, and your card knows, you died 3 times in 8 minutes, right? AKA Xiaomo, brother G, you can't do it? John Kaija, ahem. If the jungler doesn't come, I will definitely kill him alone. Just then, the previous voice spoke again, why is the top lane 2 levels behind? AKA Xiaomo, it's all brother G's fault. I'm distracted every time I die. The voice gradually became quiet, and a girl with the ID called Scar immediately began to compare her data with the opposing jungler, and then breathed a sigh of relief. A question popped up in the minds of the 3 people, who is this? Why does he look so strong? What does it have to do with the big brother? John Kaija probed, that, brother Shen, you put up a ward, I'll help you catch. Susu, it's okay, no need for wards, we're not afraid of junglers. Chen Shen tried to hold back his smile, he seemed to know why Sumian's social phobia has continued until now. This is comprehensive, in the process of getting along with oneself for a long time, he really only plays with himself. It's not that he doesn't want to, but that he can't. In the bushes, Sumian took Chen Shen back to the city, and then suddenly looked at Chen Shen, with some uneasiness in his eyes. Chen Shen pushed back the fruit that Sumian pushed over, and yelled into the headset, I need you to teach me, but you don't even look at your own record. John Kaija exhaled, he seemed to understand, just wait, I'm going to be serious. Scar, some people won't be carried away by 2 girls. AKA Xiao Mo, damn, I'm going to be angry too, this must kill 10, I said, even God can't save them. Sumian slowly retracted his gaze from Chen Shen, and whispered into the headset, you play the jungle well. Scar, yeah, he, you play better, the 2 of us can kill each other, what's the use of those stinky men? Sumian's face slowly smiled. Thanks to Sweep in the 3rd quarter for the reward of 100 coins. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, Why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 70. Lao Liu's evaluation of him is average. When Luo Qinlin saw this WeChat message, she was playing mahjong with some old sisters. He laughed twice and started to draw cards. Are you worried now? Maybe because I didn't receive a reply, the other party sent another WeChat message. The life of Chen Ruxi's hotpot business hangs by a thread, and yet he can head into the entertainment industry. Whether he looks at it from a big or small perspective, it's not reliable. Luo Qinlin started typing to respond, so you are afraid of getting yourself into trouble. I don't mean to blame you, I just want to ask for your opinion. My opinion is very simple. First, he is not ugly. Second, he has good character. Then I'll call Mian tonight. Luo Qinlin put down her phone and put down a card. I know my daughter's situation. Rather than picking and choosing, the most important thing now is to take the first step. Luo Qinlin, the person chosen by the program team, has known about it, and from a broad perspective, there are no big problems. Take Chen Shen as an example. Although he has been a trainee at Black Gold Entertainment for 2 years, Chen Shen's departure from Black Gold Entertainment was very dramatic. I learned from the director of Love Variety that Chen Shen had a quarrel with the top management of Black Gold Entertainment. The first time was because he didn't want to cooperate with another male trainee in selling sex for publicity. The second time was when he was dragged out by the boss's wife to meet Party A, and the wine table. I don't know whether it was the boss's wife or Party A, but Chen Shen acted out of line and left the meeting on the spot. These two things are not secrets in that small circle, and some thoughtful people compiled this matter into black material for the boss and the boss wife of Black Gold Entertainment. There is also Zhou Gaikan. Luo Qinlin was most concerned about this person at the beginning. What kind of good thing can a public relations person in the entertainment industry be? But Zhou Gaikan's company is in Yuzhou, and you will find out once you inquire about it. Why did Zhou Gaikan go to work at Huanyu? Because I like Huanyu, a female star, and my family has a lot of resources in the entertainment industry. I successfully joined the job. Later, when it was revealed that the female star was married, Zhou Gaikan tried his best to suppress the news. In Huanyu's small circle, Zhou Gaikan's reputation is equal to that of the pure love god of war. Needless to say, the other two are at least simpler than these two in the entertainment industry. If Mian really meets someone she likes, being able to get along with them under the camera is better than not being able to see them. This is why Luo Qinlin sent Su Mian to Lianzhou. Her father was willing to take care of it, and Luo Qinlin was happy to be at ease. On the other side, several gamers are still showing off their talents in Summoner's Rift. However, it was changed from rank to Super Brawl. Chen Shen found the feeling and showed off his power with a big sword. The only drawback is that the cooldown time of Dimasha's ultimate is too long. Why not one every 3 seconds? Who is Akalai? Why don't you masturbate if you like flying so much? Chen Shen looked at his 7-7-32 record and couldn't bear it anymore. Geez, quit traveling and work hard version huh? Xiao Mo, did you hear that? I'll switch planes with you and you won't switch with me. AKA Xiaomo, dot. Scar, brother, hurry up. Chen Shen ran over with a big sword on his shoulder. A Dimasha smashed the ADC surrounded by the little mage. The record is finally correct. Hey, it's so fun, Chen Shen said happily. The scarred girl sighed, I'm so tired. From playing in the morning to the afternoon, Chen Shen had already become familiar with them. Although the younger sister was a cousin, the more Chen Shen looked at her, the more he liked her. He said in the earphone, Xiaja, give your sister some gold coins. There are many places to spend money on studying. Scar girl, suddenly I'm not tired anymore. Long live big brother. Brother G, retirement and hard work version brother Shen, it's not that I'm stingy, my second aunt warned me about this. Chen Shen interrupted, when the second ant finds out, just tell me that I asked you to give it to me. The scarred girl started shouting, yeah, yeah. Big Brother is as powerful as 10,000 women. Su Mian, who was standing next to her, suddenly interrupted, Wen Wen, are you Chen Shen's sister? The scarred girl choked, I. Aka Xiaomo, my keyboard, sister Susu, you only know this. We have been playing together all day, and her big brother has also been screaming for all day. She is just waiting for the moment when the gold coins are exploded. Susu, I see, then who are you? Aka Xiaomo, my keyboard is smoking. Why do I need to drink water at this time? Jize, effort to quit the game version. His name is Xiao Mo, he is brother Shen's cousin, and he is part of the same family. Susu, oh, then who are you? Jize, effort to quit the game version. Hey, maybe I picked it up. Chen Shen smiled and said, I'll find time to make an appointment with you. Jize, trying to quit the game version. Keep your word, otherwise I will go to Sister Kinyu's place to find you. Scar, wahaha. Thank you, brother, come on, let's fight for another 300 rounds. Jize, retirement and hard work version. I transferred it to you. Su Mian stretched and said, I'm hungry. Chen Shen still had some unfinished thoughts, let alone say, it was quite fun. Su Mian's kitchen specifications are similar to those in the villa, with both Chinese and Western kitchens. The double-door refrigerator is full, and all kinds of ingredients are clearly separated. Are they all your brothers and sisters? Su Mian was still struggling with this question. Chen Shen nodded, yes, we played a lot when we were young. We were still in the same school in junior high school. We have been far apart since high school. Now we get together less and stay apart more, but we have to consciously start to get together. I see. Chen Shen smiled and said, what do you understand? Like my eldest brother, he said it was the family's responsibility, but I rarely paid attention to him. I felt that he was not capable enough. I am not capable enough either. Su Mian looked at Chen Shen, it's different. Chen Shen looked down at himself, what's the difference? Su Mian thought for a while and replied, my eldest brother took the initiative to find us, and you took the initiative to find you. Chen Shen frowned. Mian would pay attention to these details? Chen Shen felt that things seemed to be going a little wrong. They are pretty good. Like me, they also like to make friends. Su Mian hummed, I know, Wen Wen added me as a friend, and I agreed. Do you really know? Chen Shen was a little unsure. Did he overlook some details? 5 black people avoided the 2 of them being alone. Even if there were family factors, it would be abrupt and inappropriate to think about it at this stage. You can't find anyone else. After graduating from college, young people with unsuccessful careers, where can they find close friends? I mentioned good friends several times, and introducing them to them is also a friend. Does this really know or falsely know? Su Mian lowered her head to process the ingredients and asked again, then do you have many friends? Chen Shen did not answer immediately. Many or not many? If I say many, what is special about her, or if I say not many, what is special about her? I want to avoid the special answer. While still thinking, Su Mian said again, I don't have many friends, but I think it's good this way. I don't have to think about what the other person thinks and does. Sometimes they get angry when I say something wrong. Chen Shen was puzzled. Did he answer? When I was a child, I had a good friend. At that time, I lived with my grandmother. She lived next door to me. We played together every day during the summer vacation. We would run far away, pick mushrooms on the mountain, and go to the river to see the red ferry. The boat driver would sometimes take us on the boat, but we were not allowed to get off the boat. That master was very good at fishing. She learned it, but I didn't. I was a little afraid of water, but she would give me the fish she caught and let me take it home to my grandmother. She didn't like to eat fish, but liked fishing. In fact, I didn't like to eat fish either. I liked to pick up beautiful stones. When I was in the 5th grade, it was summer vacation, and I waited for her to come to me in the yard. I waited for 2 days and she didn't come. I went to find her. Her grandmother said that she was taken to a coastal city by her parents. I played alone, picked mushrooms, and watched the ferry. The boat driver taught me for a long time before I could catch fish by myself. Later, the small ferry disappeared because there was a big white ferry. After school started, she came back. I told her that I was very good at fishing. She said that girls were not good at fishing. Only boys played those things. Girls should play the piano and dance, wear beautiful skirts and dance. She also showed me photos and said that she knew a sister who was very good at dancing. I asked my father if I could go to a coastal city to play there. My father said that he would take me there when my brother went to high school.